and welcome to ABC viewers all over Australia as we bring you Australian soccer's Night of Nights from the magnificent Hyatt on Collins in Melbourne. This glittering occasion is being attended by the finest players in soccer, as well as special guests from all over Australia. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation, through its nationwide television network, is proud to present the 1989 National Soccer League Awards. Here are your hosts for the night, John Bell and Peter G.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ABC's first ever coverage of the National Soccer League Awards, this year being held in Melbourne. We have a superb night in store for you after what's been a very hectic 1989. I'm sure you'll all agree to that. The cream of Australian soccer is here in the very plush Savoy Ballroom, and I know all of you around this room and you at home have probably already made up your minds who perhaps should be the favourites for tonight's major awards.
But tonight is more than just an awards ceremony. Through the magic of television, we plan to showcase the season, all the winners, all the goals, well, the great goals, the great play, the great personalities that have made it such a superb season of NSL football. And it will be interesting to see whether or not the players who have performed so coolly out on the pitch during the season perform with such aplomb as they come up to receive their awards tonight. Not that I'm trying to put any pressure on you fellas.
Well, the first person to appear under the spotlight, perhaps to take the pressure off you a little bit, is the big boss. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman of the National Soccer League, Mr. Sam Papasavas.
Senator Graham Richardson, Minister for the Arts, the Environment and Sport. Mr. Brian Fricker, representing our sponsors, the South Australian Brewing Company. Rhonda Galbally, Chief Executive Officer of the Victorian Health Promotion Foundation. Rory Sutton, Manager ABC Television Victoria. Ian Brusasco, President of the Australian Soccer Federation. Other soccer officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the West End National Soccer League of Australia, I wish to welcome you to this, our 13th annual awards presentation. International soccer is about success, and the future of our code depends very much on the success of our national team. We must learn from our past mistakes and errors of judgment. At the same time, it is important for our efforts to be recognized by the federal government. Soccer can and does open doors in almost every country. We congratulate our guest of honour, Senator Richardson, for his success in gaining an increased sports budget and look forward to a substantial contribution to soccer. On the brighter side, the National Soccer League had an excellent year. Despite inclement weather and postponed games, there was an increase of 35% in attendances. We had record crowds for both the Grand Final and the Cup Final. I'm certain you will agree that the ABC coverage, which has taken soccer into every Australian home, contributed substantially to the increase in attendances. I'd like to thank all club officials who put so much effort in keeping the clubs functioning. Without them, I don't think soccer would be what it is today. I would like to thank the referees, members of my executive, and of course Peter Russell, who has imposed the discipline of his former profession into soccer administration. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Sam. Well, it's been a very big year for ABC television. As you are no doubt aware, 1989 was the first season in which we had exclusive rights to NSL football. I'd like to introduce to you the Manager Television for Victoria, Mr. Rory Sutton.
Distinguished guests, tonight I had intended to play right back to David Hills, our Managing Director's centre forward, but unfortunately he's been given a red card by the airline since they can't be here tonight, for which he apologises. But on his behalf and on behalf of ABC, I am delighted to welcome you here tonight for the 1989 National Soccer League Awards. In a few months' time, Australia will have its first full season of summer soccer, a bold initiative which I'm sure is going to prove a winner. Meanwhile, of course, the ABC has completed its first season of covering NSL, and as a result of that, we're pleased to have the role of exclusive national broadcaster. And I'm happy to confirm that we're going to be around for at least 4 more years. So tonight, it's a pleasure for the ABC on 2 levels. We are delighted to welcome everyone here to celebrate what has been a marvellous season of soccer, and we're also delighted to be your television network for now and into the future, a partnership which I'm sure will be of tremendous benefit both to the NSL and to ABC. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rory. Well, everyone has been saying what a great season it's been. Let's see proof. Through tonight, John Bell will take you through the highs and lows for each NSL club, both in the league and the cup. Here's the first part of his look at the season that was.
The 13th season of the National Soccer League began in high summer. Appropriately in 34-degree heat, it was sunshine which provided one of the early surprises in a season which predictably had more than its share of the unpredictable. Also turning the heat on in the early rounds was Melbourne, Croatia. Ivan Kelic slotting in 8 goals in the first 5 rounds.
Making inroads. There it is, Kelic. Number 2 for him.
Under Mike Uricalo, Apia Leichhardt had an immediate aim to remove the Dad's Army tag. Biting into the West End League was the forlorn Socceroo attempt to win the Oceania World Cup group. Under NSL playing rules, Sydney, Croatia, South Melbourne and St George were allowed to postpone games because of their wealth of Socceroo talent. With the league looking at expansion into other states, Adelaide City needed to fire to set the example. Enter one of the signings of the year. The sweeper Ivanovic from Red Star Belgrade seemed to provide the settling tonic, and they lost only 3 of the 19 matches he played.
Actually raised some hopes in the other people, and the other people around him started to play better, and then we went from there.
Heidelberg and Blacktown were promoted, but all season they struggled to move away from the wrong end of the ladder.
As I say, yeah, there's no bitter feelings, just the disappointment, and all I can do is if the lads they've given me on the same effort that they gave me, you'll have no problems.
Losing 6 out of 7, the Burgers wheeled out the chequebook, bringing in a host of new players and a new coach. But not even the Golden Greek Costa Kouas or Socceroo goalkeeper Jeff Olver could prevent the club's demotion. In the process, though, they contributed to one of the highlights of '89 with a bumper crowd at the Easter Monday Greek derby at Middle Park.
On the left. Gets it back. Here's Postecoglou. Oh, here's a goal! Teleodorus.
The club name might have changed, and Schindler Reserve was starting to look a winner. But on the park, JUST had all the old problems. Tottering on the brink, the club sacked import coach Demoski. But his illustrious replacement knew he'd have an uphill battle.
And we're all happy, and I think that if we can get all our players together without any injuries or national team commitments, we'll have a good side, and we'll have a very good side to survive.
The efforts of some of the other Socceroo-affected teams remained hard to gauge. Heavily supported Sydney, Croatia kept the opposition scoreless regularly enough, but failed to put winning scores on the board itself. Relying on tried and tested troops such as Arnold, Hunter, Jabor and Slater, Sydney, Croatia never really looked like repeating its 1988 Grand Final appearance. The scoreless draws and several inexplicable losses guaranteed the club would finish just outside the 5. South Melbourne went into the new season full of optimism, but almost all season, allowing for a mid-year purple patch, the promise wasn't converted into competition points.
1-0.
At the start of the season, most teams look to do really well at home and get maximum points and try to pick up the odd point away from home, but for us it's been the other way around this year.
South Melbourne still provided some of the best action of the season, a seesawing midweek 7-goal encounter with Melbourne City, and a controversial match with another 7 goals the same week against Sunshine.
And that's another red card.
Its 2-0 win over Olympic in round 20 seemed significant, but after it, South Melbourne faded. Paul Wade's loss had been an enormous blow, though a boon to another employer. St George under Frank Arrock again made the doubters eat humble pie. Building their efforts on the backs of a strong defence and the occasional spurt of brilliance up front, the Saints went from round 2 to round 8 unbeaten, setting the scene for another successful season. Predictions of a St George fade-out proved to be unfounded. Summer was wet, autumn was wetter, and winter was winter. When the rains came, they showed no mercy, particularly in Sydney. Storm and tempest, waterlogged grounds, blackouts and wipeouts. It was turmoil for the league.
Well, if you didn't see your club there, don't feel that you've been neglected. The second part of John's look at the season coming up later on in the program. Well, naturally, the majority of the spotlight falls on the National League senior competition through the season, but we should never forget the Youth League. The competition is split into two divisions, North and South, and tonight we're going to honour both the youth player in the Northern and Southern Division. The majority of the players in the league are under 19, and first up, it's the Southern Division. There have been 3 nominations for Southern Player of the Year. Here they are. Victorian under-16 rep Joe Bacic has come up through Melbourne Croatia's deep junior ranks to become the youth team's top scorer in 1989. And the striker wasn't out of his depth when training with the classy senior squad. A cool confidence in his ability marks South Melbourne sweeper Dean Fack's game. The tall 17-year-old's dramatic rise in 1989 has seen him in the national youth squad and the final game of the season for the Hellas seniors. Melbourne Croatia's second nomination is the only goalkeeper in line for an award tonight, 17-year-old Joe Rados. The departure of Jeff Olver saw the apprentice electrician in goal for the first team for 7 NSL matches. During that time, the team was unbeaten. No surprise to this sparky youngster's many admirers at youth level. Well, it's time to find out who our first winner of the evening is. This is something I've always wanted to do, delve into the envelope. The winner of the National Youth League Player of the Year in the Southern Division is Joe Rados from Melbourne, Croatia. And to make the presentation to Joe, former national assistant coach of Sydney Olympic, Eddie Thompson. Congratulations, Joe. While Les organises the photo, and it's one that will go up on the mantelpiece, no doubt, it's time to look at the Northern Division. And there have been 5 nominations for Youth Player of the Year in the North. Let's meet them. Having already won Marconi's Club and Players Under-19 Player of the Year awards, the National League award would fittingly cap off Andrew Charwood's season. In 1989, the 18-year-old utility has matured into one of the competition's most consistent players, coping easily with switches from defence to attack and everything in between. Versatility is also the key to Eric Christodoulou's game. In the back 4 or midfield, the 19-year-old Sydney Olympic captain inspired his team from the front, and a place in the Olympic seniors isn't too far away. 18-year-old Blago Milesevic is already a regular first-team reserve at Sydney, Croatia. Along with a couple of first-team games, the highlight of the centre-back season was representing New South Wales in the National Under-18 Championships. Croatia have a depth of junior talent, as exemplified by the nomination of Milesevic's fellow defender, Eddie Purvin, for Youth Player of the Year. The talented 17-year-old has represented New South Wales since his days in the under-13s. Sydney Olympic also have a second nomination, midfielder Craig Sharpley. The confident, energetic 19-year-old took the unusual step of trying out in England before joining an NSL team. From a keen but raw talent last year, he's been one of the competition's most improved players in 1989. Congratulations to all our nominees and nominations, but there can only be one winner, as usual. And this year, the Youth Player of the Year in the North is Craig Sharpley from Sydney Olympic. And it shouldn't be an onerous task for Eddie Thompson to present him with his award. Well done, Craig. Well done, Joe.
Well, it'll hardly come as a surprise to hear someone say that the people on the ground with the toughest job of all are the men in black, the referees, of course. And love them or loathe them, you can't do without them. Or at least I don't think so, anyway. The Referees Award is about to be presented. The referees are assessed week by week and points are allocated for their performances. They're watched very closely by adjudicators during the season. There are 5 nominations for the 1989 Referee of the Year, and perhaps you might acclaim them as I mention their names. From Victoria, Chris Bambridge. We saw this man in action in the National Cup final in Adelaide. From South Australia, Don Campbell. A New South Welshman, Richard Lawrence. Also from New South Wales, but a little further north, Jim Reeves. And our 5th and final nomination for Referee of the Year, another Victorian, Dennis Batsinas. I have to say I've never done this on national television before either. Here we go. The 1989 Referee of the Year had a pretty busy final series. Jim Reeves. And to present the award, the commercial manager for groups with Nsl Airlines, Mr. Max Wood. Jim Reeves. Jim, you say you're not anxious to say any words, and I know referees aren't supposed to do too many interviews, but you must be feeling pretty good about this.
Well, out of the blue, and I'm very excited, I can tell you that. 20 years of refereeing, and I never thought I'd reach this level, I can assure you.
Would you rate this the best of your 20 years?
Well, personally, I had intentions of retiring due to family situations, the birth of twin boys 15 months ago. And I thought, well, it's time I give it away. And the wife said, well, have another go. And I thought, well, I'll make it my best year. Can
I add to that? I'm going to come back to you on that. Well, I want to ask you a question. Is 49 a little young to be hanging up the whistle?
Well, my 23-year-old first son is sitting in the audience from my first marriage. I have twin boys, 15 months, and my latest wife is expecting again in a fortnight. It was a very big decision.
I think that's a reasonable note to go out on. Ladies and gentlemen, the Referee of the Year, Jim Reeves.
The big wet simply wouldn't let up, and it was Blacktown City which suffered the most from the venue changes and the cancellations.
And it's not the way you prepare an NSL side. I mean, it's not the fault of the club, it's not the fault of anybody. Yes, we had so much trying.
Through all the chaos, the cream floated to the top. Marconi quickly settling down for a crack at back-to-back titles. Australia's premier soccer club swept most before it, leaving some heavy losers in its wake, providing the league's leading scorers in Nastevsky and de Jong, and displaying a brand of teamwork so often a cut above the others. The champions had the odd stumble, though, against St George in round 10 and a 4-1 thrashing at home to Adelaide City in round 19. The South Australian club's push for the finals after a shocking start seemed unstoppable. But perhaps they peaked too soon. The 1-0 loss under intriguing circumstances to Olympic in round 21 appeared to shatter the surge. The evergreen Bugsy Niskahus gave the season a true milestone by making his 300th National League appearance, the first to do so. Frustrating the coach and the success-starved supporters, the pre-season favourite Sydney Olympic bungled its way to a series of losses or draws in games in which it was generally agreed the opponents had been played off the park.
But if we get in the top 5, which I think we will do, I think we'll give everybody a shake.
On the run home, Olympic had only one loss in 12 starts, the victims including all the likely top 5 candidates. Sunshine was the league's Houdini, confounding predictions of its demise once again. Latif and Lewis provided the impetus at the start and at the death. With standards on the rise, Sunshine was told it'd have to quickly improve facilities at a home ground which had more than its share of problems.
First, you avoid relegation, then you finish as high as you can, and if there's any games left, you can finish in the top 5, and then you push for it. At this stage, it's simply survival.
Surviving by the slimmest of margins, the club could thank a late-season substitute as much as anyone. Pat Morley scored 2 vital goals which secured 3 precious points. For last year's minor premier Wollongong and Apia Leichhardt, the soothsayers said it'd be a tough year, and at times it looked as though they were right. But the two clubs finished the season comfortably, without threatening either end of the ladder. While the Wolves experimented with the odd South American, more stability over the last couple of months came from lone players Ingham and Pontitas. Coach John Fleming resigned after round 19, and the club went on to lose only 1 of the last 8. But the countdown to the finals dominated, and it could hardly have been better stage managed, with 10 of the 14 clubs either trying to survive or trying to make the 5. At the top, the domination of the leading New South Wales clubs was threatened by 2 teams from Melbourne. With signings such as Spink, Zinni and Markowski, Preston appeared the pick of the Victorian clubs, and the 12-match unbeaten run from round 3 seemed to confirm that thinking. With Phil Trianidi starring in goal and a fairly stable lineup, Preston shrugged off the decision that it had to play its home games at Olympic Park and marched towards the top 3.
Andon has moulded a team which is, at the moment, not expressed itself to its total capacity, but is well on its way and will gradually peak until the end of the season.
It's in!
The end-of-year form didn't match the rhetoric, and the round 12 meeting with St George proved decisive. It was postponed 3 times, and when finally played on the Wednesday before the last round, a blistering start by the Saints shattered the Preston dream. 12th in 88 to 5th in 89 was a great effort, but Preston was upstaged in its home state by the magic of Melbourne, Croatia. Its potent attack, with useful imports from England and Canada, provided much of 89's most exhilarating entertainment.
The shot might come in here. It goes across the box to Kellich. Kellich the heel back inside. Shot in! Oh, goal! Super goal from Abzic. Oh, that's tremendous!
Actually, I think he'd be one of the best foreign players or European players that had come to Australia. I class him in probably the top 5.
Melbourne, Croatia looked certain to be Marconi's toughest opponent, but a series of late-season injuries and suspensions led to a slump, including crushing blows by Olympic and Marconi.
Stevsky playing it back into the path of Gray, sweeping it wide for Wheatley, cutting it inside into Stevsky. It's like picking apples. So a lot to play for them. Croatia looking for a finals berth.
Croatia jumped from 9th to 4th in a memorable year. And what was a watershed year for the NSL in more ways than one finished as it started, on a high.
Well, as you may have noticed there were no finals in that package. You've got those highlights to look forward to a little later on in the program. Well, the catch cry in world soccer is play fair. We had Pele out here promoting that last year. Well, this year in the National Soccer League, the Fair Play Award was sponsored by Primo Small Goods, and the inaugural winner of the Primo Fair Play Cup is the champion team, Marconi. And from Club Marconi, I'd like to call up the members of the team that are here tonight, including, of course, their coach, Bertie Mariani, and captain, Steve Calderon. And to make the presentation to them of the Primo Fair Play Cup, from Primo Small Goods, David Beverley. Well, I think Steve's getting the cup. Bertie's getting the cheque. Steve, perhaps you'd like to hand the cup to one of your teammates. and come forward and we'll find out about this season for Marconi. Congratulations. Firstly, being the team that everyone wants to beat, is it easier to play fair or harder?
I think it makes it a little bit easier at Marconi because through our coach, Bertie Mariani, we're being encouraged to play soccer, and if you're going to win, you have to be in the right position. Therefore, if you're in the right position, you don't have to worry about foul play.
So, did you find that other teams were coming at you and perhaps trying anything to stop this run of yours?
I think occasionally we're subjected to intimidation or roughhouse tactics, but I think the players, with their experience, were able to combat that, and we've got the final result.
Well, you've got a bit of silverware in that cabinet now at Club Marconi. Is this one you want to make sure you retain next year?
I think we want to retain all our trophies from this year.
All right. Steve Calderon, the captain of Marconi. Congratulations. Thanks very much, boys. We'll be honouring you and your other achievements this season a little later on in the program. Well, of course, the coach has to share accolades such as the Primo Fair Play Cup with everybody else in the club. But when a club is not as successful as Marconi is, the coach is the first person to be blamed when things start going wrong and, of course, faces the axe. It's time to honour our NSL Coaches of the Year, from which there are 5 nominees. One will be named as the NSL Coach of the Season. As I introduce each of the nominees, would you please give them a round of applause, and I would ask them to stand at their table. Our first nomination for the NSL Coach of the Year award, St George coach Frank Arrock. The best-known face in Australian soccer, St George and Australian coach Frank Arrock delights in making the experts eat their words. The Saints were again tipped to be fighting for survival in '89, but the old fox took them all the way to the preliminary final. Our second nomination, unfortunately he can't be here with us this evening, from Preston, Macedonia, Andon Donchevsky. Having saved the club from relegation in 1988, Preston's Andon Donchevsky put together a big-name lineup in '89 that for much of the season was Melbourne's NSL flagship. But the form that saw his team go 12 weeks without defeat deserted them when it mattered. Our next nomination is a man that we do know is here. You've already seen him, the champion coach, Bertie Mariani. At the age of 33, the league's youngest coach, Bertie Mariani, proved Marconi's championship in his first season as a senior coach had been no fluke. A player's coach, Mariani allows his team to express themselves, a recipe that again put the lie to those who doubt his credentials. Our fourth nomination is a man who also shared success as far as silverware was concerned this evening, Adelaide City's Zoran Matic. With little money at his disposal, the quietly spoken Zoran Matic put an Adelaide City team on the park that played some of the competition's classiest football. After a slow start, the cup became the goal, and despite not playing for 5 weeks, Matic got City up for it. And last but by no means least, our fifth nomination for NSL Coach of the Season, Sydney Olympics' Eddie Thompson. While the ultimate rewards were missing in season '89, Sydney Olympics outspoken coach Eddie Thompson can take some consolation from having coached his young team to the finals of both national competitions. Experience they can't help but learn from. Well, it's time now to find out who is the coach for season 1989. The NSL's coach of the season, Bertie Mariani from Marconi. And to make the presentation to Bertie, I'd like to call up the chairman of the Australian Soccer Federation, Mr. Ian Brasasco. Thank you, Ian. Well, Bertie, you were the team to beat, as I mentioned to Steve, right from the start of the season. Did that psychology degree help in keeping the team thinking that way?
Probably did, I guess. It's really hard. People have brought that point up to me about the psychology degree, and I've definitely studied it, but I think a lot of my experience comes from, as a player, have good coaches, having watched a lot of good football as a player also. So I think it helped, but at the same time, I think more importantly, it was a combination of a whole lot of things that I learned throughout my life.
Well, who was the coach that influenced you most through your playing career?
All of them, for better or for worse. I can honestly say that. I had a lot of points of contention with coaches, and it wasn't something that you take lightly. In my point of view, I tried to work out why I wasn't playing is the main thing, and never wanted to sit back and take somebody's opinion on why you're not playing. I tried to find out myself and embarked on a few little studies and come up with some ideas of my own, and so far they've been okay.
Congratulations. Well, Bertie, that's one you don't have to share with anybody if you don't want to, but I think you already have. Champion coach, the NSL Coach of the Season, Bertie Mariani.
One of the really exciting things about the game in Australia at the moment is the number of top-class young players coming into the senior ranks. They've made their way through the juniors and through the youth league, the state leagues, and the various other competitions, and some of them are now getting their opportunity in the major league, the National League. 5 of those young players have been nominated as the 1989 Under-21 Player of the Year.
Northern looking for Aaron Bassage.
Blacktown did it tough in '89. But through it all, 19-year-old Zlatko Aaron Bassage stood out. Showing skills beyond his years, he scored 9 goals in 21 games to be the club's leading scorer.
With the throw all well intercepted there, and Aaron Bassage might have a shot here. Still going, Aaron Bassage, the shot, it's there! Oh, superb work from Zlatko Aaron Bassage. Follows Petrov. Zalewski trying the shot. Inches wide there from George Zalewski.
Taliadoros the target. In the way was Zalewski. Peterson for right. And Zalewski again does well.
Labelled as a future Socceroo defender, the solid 20-year-old Preston left-back also impressed with his overlapping benches into the midfield. George Zalewski didn't miss a game and even put his name on the score sheet.
Zalewski trying the shot. Through the legs of the keeper. And George Zalewski, who gave away the penalty after 2 minutes, scores his first ever goal in the National Soccer League.
Fabrizio, now it's Timoski back there. Ball wrestled away by Markowski.
Zalewski lists Markowski as one of his favourite actors, but he's more than that. Big, burly, brilliant, arrogant and so strong on the ball, there's a buzz of expectation every time the 19-year-old is near the action. He played 25 games in '89, scoring 7 goals.
Not only are the fans winning on the terraces, the team are winning on the pitch.
Clever 21-year-old Olympic midfielder Jason Pollock has the world at his feet. Cool and calm in a crisis, the Townsville-born AIS product is a Socceroo going places in a hurry.
Pollock puts a good ball into the path of David Barrett.
Pollock made 25 appearances in '89, making the score sheet twice.
His first half. George Arkis. Now Pollock. Jason Pollock and Kane Tommy McCulloch in close attendance.
Down the right. We've got another chance here if the cross can come in. There it is. Trimboli. Yes! Great goal from Trimboli.
The exciting 20-year-old South Melbourne spearhead is destined to go to the top. A modest accountancy student, Trimboli took account of many a defence in '89, scoring 10 goals in 25 appearances, including a hat-trick.
Right. Here's the follow-up. Trimboli.
Another envelope. I like doing this. This is good. This is the Under-21 Player of the Year. All would be worthy winners. There can only be one. Paul Trimboli. Unfortunately, Paul is unable to be with us. He's, would you believe, touring Malaysia at the moment with another club, Heidelberg, as a guest player. And to accept the award on Paul's behalf, the coach of South Melbourne Hellas, Brian Garvey, and presenting the award, the Chief Executive of the Victorian Health Promotion Foundation, Rhonda Galbally.
The ABC commentators put themselves on a hiding to nothing this season by trying to pick out the golden goal of the year. You ask 10 people about a goal and whether it was a good or an average one, and you get 10 different answers, as I've already found out this evening, Michael. But of the hundreds of goals we've seen on ABC television this year, we've narrowed it down to 15 and then asked our commentators to vote from a 1 to 5 basis on those to decide the 5 nominations for the 1989 Golden Goal. Here they are.
At his brilliant best, John Markowski can make the ball talk, and at any distance from goal.
Markowski, good strength from him also. Spick on the left, tries it from 40 metres. Oh, what a goal! John Markowski hammers one from 40. His 4th goal of the season. Preston 2, Melbourne City JUST 1.
Heidelberg's Alan Scott would love to always hit them as cleanly as this one at Olympic Park.
Heidelberg, Tredini, can he get the ball across? He does so, headed away there by Selamides. Still with Heidelberg, finally away, only as far as Scott tries the shot. Oh, yes! Oh, superb goal from Alan Scott. Oh, what a drive! And Scott taking the chances here. Look at this curl on that, a wicked curl on the ball, and beating over point blank.
Melbourne, Croatia scored some sensational goals. None better than this individual effort from Branko Milosevic.
Nsl Milosevic. Cuts back inside for Milosevic. Trying a shot. Brilliant goal. Branko Milosevic. His 3rd goal of the season. Look one way, look the other. Cut inside. And drove this from a good 40 yards. It dips, it swerved. The keeper is beaten.
He may not consider himself the flagship of Australian soccer, but Paul Trimboli destroyed many a defence in season 89.
Trimboli. Oh, magic. Oh, yes. Paul Trimboli shows us something special. I think that's why he's rated as one of the best centre forwards in the country.
Zlatko Nastevski showed us so many touches of class, and this was the pick of his 20 goals for Marconi.
Zlatko Nastevski away from Green. Nastevski, 1-0. A brilliant solo goal from Zlatko Nastevski. Breaks the deadlock after 31 minutes. Zlatko Nastevski here picks up the ball outside the penalty area. Faced by David Green and Andy Kotska. Gets it through the legs of David Green. Only Gibson to beat. It was an awkward angle. The goalkeeper had come out to narrow the angle.
Well, by their applause in the Savoy Ballroom here tonight, our guests have awarded their golden goal of the season. I'm sure you've picked out your favourite at home. Having seen them, I think I might change my vote, but it's a little bit too late. The winner of the golden goal, the ABC Golden Goal for 1989, Paul Trimboli from South Melbourne Hellas. As you know, Paul can't be here with us, but it's our pleasure to invite up to accept the award on his behalf his father, Dominic.
Trimboli. Oh, magic. Oh, yes. Paul Trimboli shows us
John Trimboli on behalf of Paul Trimboli, the winner of the ABC Golden Goal for 1989. Single goals decided all the Sydney finals. One good fist didn't lead to another for Olympic keeper Clint Gosling.
Yeah, lifting that one forward. Pressure again for Clint Gosling. A good fist there by the keeper. Just got over and short. George takes the lead.
In Melbourne, two rapid blows from Melbourne, Croatia dispatched Preston. To a match that has already gone down as a classic.
Ball comes loose to Alistair Edwards, tries the shot and it's there! Awaratifi's through, only the keeper to beat. There it is, the equaliser! Oh, good run from Amassad! Olympic take the lead! Here's Kellich, adds it! Oh, it's 2-all! Danny Otis. Oh, down goes Eugene Brazzali. I mean, what more can happen in this game?
The linesman wasn't knocked out. In extra time, Croatia were.
Kosh. That one's on target and in the net.
Against spirited, saintly opposition, it took just one header from the league's top scorer to put Marconi straight through to defend their title.
With the cross, Nastevsky. Marconi take the lead. 3 minutes before half-time.
Frank Arrock's Saints had been described as a pub team by Eddie Thompson after the preliminary semi, and in the rematch, Frank was in need of a drink.
Kristovich's shot is cleared off the line after Bingham hit the post. Pollock throwing that one across. Here's Amassad. Amassad is the player who scored the all-important goal, embraced there by his coaching staff. The hero for those Sydney Olympic supporters. A great scene this for the grand final for 1989. For the first time this afternoon, the fans get a sight of their heroes. Sydney Olympic at the 1989 grand final underway, attacking the goals well right in the first half. Sydney Olympic in the all blue, Marconi their familiar green and white. What an occasion, and what a great atmosphere.
Perhaps it was that emotion-charged atmosphere provided by the record crowd of over 23,000 that contributed to a first half highlighted by cards of both colours.
From behind, Nastevsky goes in there, pushes Hooker to the ground. Referee Jimmery is going to step in here quickly. No other side. Chance to use his pace, and obstructed there by Bellucci, and he's got to go. He's got a yellow card, and he's off. So Matteo Bellucci is sent off in the 39th minute. He was 50 yards from his goal. There's no way in the world he could have built something up from there, but it was silly to bring him down on a halfway line. Deliberate obstruction, that is a bookable offence. So Matteo Bellucci, injured in last year's grand final, sent off this year.
Backed by their baying throng, it was Olympic who came out with all guns blazing in the second half.
Waldron, Jason Pollock, lovely skills. Still Pollock, riding those challenges well. Here's Alistair Edwards, right-footed. Alistair Edwards faced there by Robbie Weekly. Alistair Edwards, 90 seconds of stoppage time has now been played.
With extra time only a whistle away, what had almost seemed inevitable from early in the season took place, but not without one last scare. Well, amongst the number from Marconi behind me is the season's top goal scorer. During the regular season, he scored 20 goals to finish just 3 behind John Cosmina's league record, and you've seen the 2 goals he notched in the final series. The winner of the top goal scorer award for season 1989 is Zlatko Nastevski from Marconi. And to present Zlatko with his award, the chairman of the NSL, once again, Mr. Sam Papasavas.
While the Marconi players make their way back to their seats, we've reached the moment I suppose most of us in the room have been waiting for, the announcement tonight of the 1989 Player of the Year. And after round 26, that was the final round, up to 20 players from each club were invited to cast their votes on their choice of the top 3 players of 1989. There was only really one proviso. You weren't allowed to vote for any of your teammates. That was the proviso. The votes have now been collated and we're down to our final 5 for the Player of the Year, and amazingly they come from just 3 clubs.
18 games for 13 goals says it all for the 23-year-old Melbourne Croatia attacking midfielder. Confident, magical, but also a good support player and always with finesse. He was one of the season's entertainers.
Well, look to play for them. Croatia looking for a finals berth. That's it!
Davidson, the slide, beautiful timing, balance.
Veteran Alan Davidson was Mr. Consistency for Melbourne Croatia, the rock on which its great season was built. With 219 NSL appearances under the belt, the 29-year-old showed all his guile and experience in '89.
Davidson. Well, he doesn't go lying about on the park.
Melbourne Croatia's opponents could never be quite sure where Davo would show up next.
Offside not given, but squared across to Gray. Tries the shot. It's there from Ian Gray. The hand goes up.
Dominant force in the midfield for Marconi. Ian Gray played 26 games in '89, scoring 8 goals. He's now played more than 200 NSL matches, providing power, experience and great service to his teammates.
From Ironside. He's stopped by David Barrett.
Ball given away there by Salamides to Gray. Let's see if he takes Paul's advice and tries it. It's taken a deflection and it's in! Well, you've picked it, Paul Wade. Ian Gray gets the opening goal.
Elegant, cultured and lethal. He was Marconi's goal-scoring ace.
That one across. Nastevski, 1-0. Still Calagiuri. Nastevski up in support. Nastevski.
32-year-old Nastevski scored 22 goals in 27 matches. Always dangerous on the ball, he lurked menacingly in the area, relishing the role vacated by Frank Farina. He was Marconi's clinical finisher.
Nastevski, the goal scorer.
Now it's Postecoglou on the overlap. The big left back crosses it in low. Chance for and put away by Trimboli.
Nastevski says Trimboli is his favourite player. Hailed as a star of the Socceroos of the 90s, South Melbourne's young striker didn't let his fans down. Unselfish, with great instinct, his smooth ball control has launched what will be an illustrious career.
Well, there they are, the 5 nominations for the 1989 Player of the Year. Will Paul Trimboli pull off a remarkable double? We'll find out in a moment. And I need the script for this because to present the award we have with us tonight the Federal Minister for Sport, Environment, Tourism, Territories and the Arts, Senator Graham Richardson. And Senator Richardson has the envelope.
Thanks very much and good evening everyone. Today I made an announcement and I made a decision. In making the announcement, this afternoon I announced a new plan for Australian sport, which will mean an extra $100 million over the next 4 years and will mean, I hope, a great deal for elite athletes, for coaches, for administrators, and for school kids, with the Aussie Sports program being increased tremendously. I did all that at lunchtime. And then I made a decision as I climbed aboard a 4-seater Cessna for a 2-hour flight to come to your dinner. I made a decision that I didn't like pilots very much at all. And given that I've got to get back onto that same Cessna to go home when I leave here tonight, you can understand my feelings. But I made the effort to come because soccer embodies all of the elements that I announced in that plan today. If you look at the phenomenal participation rate that you have, the penetration you've got in schools, soccer is the coming game. Soccer will be around for a long time after the rest of us have gone. It is the sport... It is the sport that shows the way. Along with cricket and netball, it is, in terms of participation, the most popular sport in the country. And so soccer has got to be worth supporting, and it's got to be worth me making an effort. And this year, I have made something of an effort to see a bit of your game. If you look at the Sydney winter, unfortunately, it wasn't the best, and the weather wreaked havoc upon the competition. I can recall seeing at first hand just how wet the grounds were when I walked onto the home ground of Sydney, Croatia. Alan Davidson would remember the occasion as I walked on and shook hands with the teams. It's a great feeling as Sports Minister to watch all those players as you shake hands with them, the officials wanting you to do so, and you can see the players wishing you the hell off the paddock so they can get on with the game. But as I walked around, it was an awfully slushy arena. It must have been very difficult for so many players to perform on for so long. But nonetheless, at the end of the season, there are a couple of milestones that we can look back on and hopefully look forward to. First off, can I say to Rory Sutton, please convey to David Hill, just shows the government can agree with David on something, that the ABC has done a phenomenal job for soccer during this season. By bringing soccer into the homes of so many Australians, it's giving soccer that real chance to jump into the big spectator league. And if you look at that 23,000 at the game only a few weeks ago, that couldn't have been achieved, I'm sure, without all that the ABC has done. But then, whenever you look at sport, you must look at the players. And tonight, on the video, along with the rest of you, you've seen some very, very exciting players. I don't claim expertise in soccer, but having watched it tonight, young players like Bukowski and Trimboli are going to ensure us a very, very rosy future in the years to come. And to them I say, tonight's really about you, because you embody what the rest of us always wanted to be and couldn't. It's champions that make us try harder, and soccer is producing a tremendous share of them. I congratulate you all. But now I come to the announcement. The Players' Player of the Year. And I suppose if any of us are looking for judgment from our peers is where we'd like to get it. And when I look at the name, it really couldn't be anyone else. He's done pretty well tonight. The Players' Player of the Year, Zlatko Krasiewski.
I'm so proud to be here tonight, and really honestly I can't believe it, this, especially with because I achieved this for the players, such a good players here in Australia, who I think they are the best judges. Honestly, I expected to be top scorer, and Mr. Labosetta is here. And when I come to Marconi, I just promised him that I would be, and I can be, top scorer. But with this award, I have to thank all my thanks to my teammate, Bertie Mariani, my club, Mr. Labosetta, and I think we will try next year to do the same and celebrate. Thank you very much.
Zlatko Nastevski, the Player of the Year, 32 years of age, may keep going for a long while into the future. Well, that just about brings to an end our awards coverage, the 1989 NSL Awards. May we say congratulations to all the winners tonight.
And on behalf of everyone at the ABC, may I say how much we've enjoyed being involved with soccer in this first season. And I can tell you that personally, I'm really looking forward to the start of the new one.
Yes, I might remind you all that the new season is just 10 weeks away. In the meantime, please keep up to date with English soccer on ABC television over the next 10 weeks and into the rest of the English season, of course. And for now, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him. Good night.
Good night.